Good morning, one and all. Respected Chairman of Malabar Mechanical Engineering Faculty, Kerala, Vice Chairman of Mechanical Engineering Faculty, Kerala, and other dignitaries, and the most respected Chief Guest and the Keynote Speaker, Akbar, Arakkal. Sir, my colleagues, and all other dignitaries and the students who are participating in this webinar. A warm welcome to all of you. And today I am privileged and honored as Mechanical Engineering Faculty Kerala has given us an opportunity, or myself an opportunity, to be a part of this program. And they have also invited us, or they have made us to host this particular event today under the banner of Mechanical Engineering Department, Malabar Polytechnic Campus, Cherpulassery. And as the Vice Chairman and the Head of Section of Malabar Polytechnic Campus, Mr. Prakashan, has told that there is a huge gap between the industry and the institution nowadays. And in order to bridge the gap or to reduce the gap between the industry and the institution, different types of webinars has to be conducted so that the students are aware what exactly is happening in the industry and what actually they are studying. So there is what we are studying in engineering, and when you come to the practical side, there are huge differences. So that must be what you call bridged, or it should be rectified earlier before you come out of the college and before you are graduated. So the topic, as Mr. Ammar has told, and the topic of today is oil and gas industry overview, trends and opportunities. I hope Mr. Akbar Arakkal sir is the eminent and the most suitable person to deliver such a speech, as he has got a vast experience in oil and gas industry, and especially in one of the government-owned company in Qatar Petroleum, and with different qualifications and graduations in his name. He will be one of the best person to deliver a speech on this particular topic. Let me tell you one. I just have some brief thing about it. As we have got a plenty of undeveloped hydrocarbon in the world, enough for more of our centuries and our civilization to be flourished. But the climate impact of using this resource in the way we currently do is potentially catastrophic. So probably this webinar presentation, which is driving the growth in energy demand and reviews the multiple sources of oil and gas around the world, along with the opportunities and the proven and unproven reserves of oil, gas, coal, etc. I hope Mr. Akbar sir would be also introducing the things. The problems about the climatic changes due to the uncontrolled use of the petroleum products and other things. So I hope we have got a better and platform hosted by the Malabar Polytechnic campus, and programmed and conducted by the administrator of Malabar Polytechnic campus, Mr. Ammar Malayil. And I hope everyone will have a great session today, and looking forward for a better session, and good morning to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Subair, sir, the Chairman of Mechanical Engineering Faculty Kerala, for his opening remarks.
Thank you, Ammar, sir. Good morning, all. Honorable President of today's function, Sri Mohammed Sirajudheen, sir, Principal Malabar Polytechnic Campus. Respected Chief Guest and Speaker of today's webinar, Sri Akbar Arakkal, sir. The Vice Chairman of MEFK and the motive force behind this platform, our beloved Prakashan, sir. Coordinator of this program, Sri Ammar, sir. FDP coordinators of MEFK, Mr.Shyne, sir. most respected advisory board members of MEFK, governing body members, coordinators of various subcommittees, members of MEFK, delegates from Malabar Polytechnic campus, Cherpulassery, and all participants of this program. It is indeed a happy and proud moment to be here for our second program. Let me share a few words about Mechanical Engineering Faculty Kerala. It is an exclusive platform for the Faculty of Mechanical Engineering in Polytechnic Colleges of Kerala State. It has an advisory board, a governing body, and various subcommittees to drive the activities for enhancing various skills and knowledge among faculty as well as our student community. As our Prakashan sir and Sirajudheen sir told, there is a gap between industry and institution. These types of programs will enhance and we can bridge the gap between this industry and institutes. We are planning to start a website to showcase the resources available from various polytechnic colleges and faculty members. I congratulate all faculty members of various subcommittees for their enthusiasm to conduct and coordinate the activities of MEFK in a fruitful manner. Today, we have a faculty from Qatar Petroleum. He is an eminent personality from the field of oil and gas industry. I hope this webinar will be very much beneficial for all of us. Our FTP coordinator will announce the forthcoming events of MEFK in association with the polytechnic colleges in the state and other professional bodies. Next week also, we will have a session. The details will be intimated shortly. It's a proud moment for all MEFK members and all dignitaries in this platform. Because in this webinar, we hope we'll get an insight about oil and gas industries. Actually, there is a lack of awareness among us, among the faculty members of our polytechnic colleges and all other professional institutions. We have knowledge. We have knowledge about our syllabus, but there is a limitation. So the lectures like, the webinars like this will enhance our knowledge and skill. The details of our forthcoming events, as I said earlier, it will be announced shortly. We hope we can conduct the webinars like this in every week in coming future. I request all faculty members to inform about this platform, that means MEFK, to all your colleagues who are not the members of MEFK until now. Okay, running short of time, let me conclude my opening remarks. We are very much thankful to Malabar Polytechnic College campus for coming forward to host this webinar. I request all your wholehearted support and active participation in this program to make this a grand one. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. So now I would like to extend my special thanks to our keynote speaker, Mr. Akbar sir, who will be speaking later. And I would like to take this opportunity to describe his profile. Mr. Akbar Arakkal is an engineering graduate from MES College of Engineering, Petroleum 2001 batch, and is working in Qatar Petroleum, the state-owned oil and gas corporation of Qatar, for almost 15 years, specialized in air traffic control and marine communication. Mr. Akbar is board certified communicator from Texas Air and Marine Engineering US and certified project management professional at PMP from PMI US. He is a certified manager of quality and operational excellence from American Society of Quality and is also a certified lead auditor in ISO 9001 2008 standards. Mr. Akbar had gained his international diploma in health, safety and environment from MEFK UK and is also a graduate member of IOSH UK. He had conducted numerous interactive sessions in India and abroad, including NIT Calicut and IIT Palakkad. Moreover, Mr. Akbar Arakkal is also a managing trustee of Malabar Polytechnic campus, Cherpulassery, Palakkad. So I kindly invite Mr. Akbar sir to have the session. Akbar sir.
Thanks, Ammar, for that wonderful introduction. It was indeed inspiring. Respected dignitaries, Principal of Malabar Polytechnic, Mr. Siraj sir, President or Chairman of Mechanical Engineering Faculty, Kerala Fraternity, Mr. Subair sir, my dearest Prakashan sir, Ammar sir, and everybody, each and everybody, faculty members, students, parents, whoever is present in this meeting, a very good morning to all of you. Today, I feel really inspired and excited to be with you in this wonderful day, that I'm given an opportunity from various campuses of the state. In fact, I too started my career as a faculty member at MEA Engineering College, Petroleum. I was there for almost 8 months, and Mr. Siraj was my colleague over there. I owe a lot of respect and dignity for this profession. You faculty members are the real inspiration, and you are the people who impart not only the bookish knowledge to our students, but also you impart the real core values of life to our students who are going to be the great professionals, entrepreneurs, and change makers of the future. So, as introduced, my name is Akbar Arakkal. I'm hailing from Thrissur district, from a village called Arakkal. Did my schoolings at Ansar English School, Penimbalav. Completed my B.Tech in Electronics and Communication from MES College of Engineering in the year 2001. Currently working with Qatar Petroleum, the state-owned oil and gas corporation of Qatar, in their offshore operations for the past 14 plus years. Specialized in air traffic controls and marine communication. Married to Dr. Jasila Akbar. She is a pathologist by profession working at MES Medical College, Petroleum. I've got 3 kids, Mohammed, Asba, Fatma, and Zainab. Being said that, today, let me make it clear the real objective of conducting such a session. Before that, Ammar, am I audible to everybody? Ammar, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes.
If you find any sort of distractions, or if you find that my voice clarity is low, just please interact, or you can send a personal message in the chat box, okay?
Okay.
So, the objective behind such a session was clearly stated by Prakashan sir, Siraj sir, and also by our Subair sir. When we were studying in the college, we had very limited possibilities or opportunities to interact with professionals from the industry. So when we became professionals, we got the experience and expertise from the industry. We thought, why don't we go back to our campuses? Why don't we interact with our students and our faculty members? Why don't we share our knowledge and expertise which we got from the industry experience, which may be helpful for our faculty members to mentor and guide our students in a better manner. And this single aspiration, this single goal had driven us to travel to different campuses all over the state and outside the state also, to meet with our students, our faculty members, and give them an idea about what's really happening in the industry, so that our students can be better prepared to face the competition and be on the competitive edge when they come out of the campuses. As Siraj clearly stated, this is an attempt to bridge the gap between campuses and the industry. So being said that, we'll try to make this session as interactive as possible. You can just note down your questions and type it in the chat box. Mr. Ammar, the coordinator of this event, he will finally take out the relevant questions and we'll try to discuss as much as possible. Our session will be going through a presentation. Just give me a minute, please. We'll be having 3 different sessions in this particular time of 1 hour. The first one will be basically introduction to the oil and gas industry. What is oil and gas industry? How the oil and gas industry functions? What are the different streams associated with oil and gas industry? Then we'll go to the career planning in oil and gas industry. How the career for a student can be planned, and what are the things our faculty members should be aware about, and what actually the industry is seeking from our students as graduate engineers or as diploma engineers. And finally, we'll come to the trends and the latest challenges that our industry is facing in this new world, the new world in the post-COVID scenario. So this will be 3 different sessions. We'll start with the introduction to oil and gas industry. As you all know, oil and gas is a very precious natural resource. We call oil and gas as a black gold. There are 3 different attributes which comes to our mind when we think about the oil and gas, or we think about the gold. The first thing is that gold is a very precious natural resource. Secondly, gold is a natural resource that can be easily converted to liquid money, or we can say the liquidity of gold is very high. Thirdly, the possession or abundance of gold with a particular person or a particular country marks its financial stability or financial strength over the rest of the world. Similarly, oil and gas is a very precious natural resource. Oil and gas is a precious natural resource that can be easily converted to liquid money. The liquidity of oil and gas is very high. And finally, the presence or the possession or abundance of oil and gas with a particular country or a nation marks its financial stability or its financial strength over the rest of the world. This is why we call synonymically oil and gas as the black gold. Let us see a quick look into the origin or the chemistry of oil and gas. Oil and gas is basically a different mixture of hydrocarbons. And most of you know, hydrocarbons are nothing but it's a combination of hydrogen and carbon, where hydrogen atoms are attached to backbone of carbons. In this picture, you will be seeing 1 bottle of crude oil. This crude oil is not in the form of the gasoline or the diesel or the paraffin, whatever products which we use in our day-to-day life. But it is a mixture of a lot of unwanted minerals, poisonous gases like H2S, SO2, then water, which has to be further segregated, processed, refined, and converted to different products which we use in our day-to-day life as petrol, diesel, paraffin, bitumen, synthetic rubber, etc. We'll see one by one how it is done. The formation or cooking of oil and gas. Thousands of millions years ago, there had been living organisms or vegetations that get sedimented and trapped in some vacuum traps under the seabed, or maybe under the rocks, or under the desert or polar regions, and they get converted to fossils. While this conversion, different states are being formed for these particular fossils. At 30 degrees Celsius, these hydrocarbons which are being trapped in the anticline traps, we call them as anticline traps. They are converted to the solid state of oil and gas, which we call the kerogen. As the temperature goes high, what happens to solid state? Solid state converts to the liquid state. At 90 degrees Celsius, the liquid state of oil and gas takes form, which we call as the oil. Again, the temperature goes high. At 150 degrees Celsius, the oil is converted to gas. We call it as natural gas. So those anticline traps which cooks the different forms of hydrocarbons in the fossil formations, we call it as kerogen when it is solid state. We call it as oil when it is in the liquid state. We call it as natural gas when it is the gaseous state. Now, coming to the industry sectors. What are the different industry sectors associated with oil and gas? What are the different streams? What are the different industries? What are the operations? How does it function like? We'll discuss one by one in these industry elements. The petroleum industry, as you know, is the world's largest industry, indubitably. The three different streams associated with oil and gas are upstream, midstream, and downstream. Upstream deals with the exploration, recovery, and production of oil and gas. Midstream deals with the processing of oil and gas or the crude oil, and the downstream deals with the transportation, refining, and distribution of oil and gas. We'll discuss one by one. What's exploration? What's recovery? What's production? What's processing, transportation, refining, and distribution? That will be the life cycle of oil and gas industry. So keep in mind there are three different streams associated with the different industries of oil and gas, which we call the upstream, midstream, and downstream. Now, what is the supply chain or the life cycle of oil and gas? You know that every product which we produce in the market has got a life cycle. Suppose this bottle of water. What is the life cycle of this bottle of water? First of all, we have to identify a location where the water is available. We have to take it out, we recover it, we purify it, we bottle it, we put the sticker, we transport to the warehouses. From the warehouses, it's being distributed to the main supplier. The main supplier takes to the supermarkets or groceries. We as an end user, we go there, purchase it, and we use it. We throw the empty bottle and it gets perished. This is the life cycle. Similarly, the supply chain or the life cycle of oil and gas goes through 5 different industries, which we can summarize as exploration, production, transportation, refining, and distribution. We'll see one by one what are these industries and how they function, which will give you a brief idea about the oil and gas industry. Shall I proceed? Ammar, can I go? Is it okay? The speed is okay? Ammar, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Thank you. So, before going into the real scenario of oil and gas industry, let me give you a very simple example for your clear understanding. Suppose we want to drill a well in our home. We have to dig a well for the water source in our home. What is the first thing we always think about? We want to identify a location where there is abundant presence of water. We have to know where we have to drill this well or dig this well. For this, we bring some specialists with some tools and techniques. They come to our home, they make a walkthrough, and they say that this is the best place to dig a well, and this is called a survey. Similarly, in the oil and gas industry, the first step for production is to identify where exactly we have got the abundant presence of crude oil or natural gas. This is called seismic surveys. In offshore locations, offshore means in the middle of the sea, we use huge diving support vessels or diving support ships to do this job. In the deserts or maybe in the polar regions or some remote locations, we use shock wave injecting trucks which can perform this function. Seismic survey is nothing but we are injecting some shock waves that travels through that penetrates towards the anticline traps, touches the anticline traps, then come back, and it has been received by receivers. The wavelength difference between the transmitted and received waves are being tabulated and calculated using some proprietary protocol softwares, and we get the result about the presence of crude oil or gas in those areas or in those anticline traps. This is called seismic surveys. And once we finalize that the best area to drill a oil well is confirmed, we go for the next step, which is called drilling. The same way what we do in the case of a domestic well. So once we identify the source of water, what is next? We dig a well. This is called, or we make a hole. This is called drilling. In oil and gas industry, we call it technically as drilling the well. Drilling is a very expensive affair. So we have to make sure that before drilling, every possible steps or every possible studies are being done to make sure that the result of a seismic survey is absolutely correct. So that when we drill the well, we will have abundant presence of crude oil in that particular location. And this drilling is done by companies like National Drilling Company. Then we have got Gulf Drilling Company, which are the huge organizations which are specialized in drilling. The next step is production. We'll go back to our domestic well in our home. Once we make or dig the well, what next? We will take out the water. This is called production. Similarly, when we dig the oil wells, our intention is to recover the crude oil source from that particular oil well. In the case of our domestic well in our houses, if you are digging a well where there is abundant presence of water, the water comes up very easily with its natural pressure. Suppose the presence of water is not that abundant. What we do? We go for some artificial techniques like bore wells. Similarly, in the case of oil wells, when we drill a hole, which we call as the oil well, if the presence or the abundance or the natural pressure of that crude oil is sufficient enough to recover this crude oil, the crude oil will come up and we can easily recover it. In case the natural pressure is not sufficient enough or the abundant presence is not sufficient enough, then we go for some artificial lifting techniques, and such wells are called artificially lifted wells. So there are two different oil wells. The first one is natural pressure wells and second one is artificially lifted wells. And how this is done? Again, I'll give you a very simple example. Take a tumbler of water. In the tumbler of water, you just pour some oil. What happens? The oil floats. What's the reason? Because the density of oil is lesser than that of water. So water goes down and oil comes up. Similarly, in artificial lifting technique, we will inject steam. You can see two wells are here. The one is an oil producer well and the second one is a steam injector well. So in the steam injector well, we inject high pressure steam into the anticline traps, and these steams go and pressurize the crude oil inside the anticline traps. And what happens? The crude oil goes up and the steam, which is the vapor state of the water, goes down so that we can recover the crude oil. This is called artificial lifting technique using steam injector artificial lifting wells. Now, after production, what next? This production is done in remote locations, mostly in the middle of the sea, maybe in desert locations, maybe polar regions. We have to transport the crude oil or the natural gas from the area of production to an area or a region where it can be easily refined, or we have to transport it to the refineries. The best technique or the mode used for transportation on an industrial basis on a large scale are using huge pipelines. These pipelines transport the crude oil from a point of production to the point of refining. In the case of land, we use trucks or maybe trains, etc., for this transportation purpose. I've just listed a few of most leading pipelines in the Middle East, or especially in the Qatar. Inside Halul Island Pipeline, Ras Al Khaimah Abu Dhabi Dolphin Project, NFM Side Pipeline, Bulhanan Side Field Pipeline, Occidental Petroleum, that's PS1 to Halul Island Pipeline. And the picture shown over here is a satellite picturization of the Trans-Alaskan Pipeline, which is the world's most longest petroleum pipeline and crude oil pipeline. You have heard about this GAIL pipeline project, the project which has been done from India and Iran has entered a particular agreement to transport natural gas from Iran to India, and that project is still going on. Now coming to the refining. Once transported, what next? We have to refine this crude oil into different products which we can use in our day-to-day life. Just see this pictorial representation of this furnace. We have the crude oil as the input, and the furnace heats this crude oil. So the furnace gives out at 20 degrees Celsius, we get the gas. At 150, we get the petrol. 200 degrees Celsius, we get the kerosene. 300 degrees Celsius, we get the diesel. 370 fuel oil, and above 400 we get lubricating oils, paraffin, wax, asphalt, etc. So refinery is the biggest industry in the oil and gas industry. You have heard about Mangalore refinery, Cochin refinery, Reliance refinery in Bombay High, etc. So refinery is that particular sector or stream of the industry which refines the crude oil into various day-to-day products which we use in our life. And finally, after refining, what next? It has to be distributed to different outlets. And these outlets, we are the end customers, end users, or the clients, customers. We go to such distribution points like Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited, BPCL, HPCL, Indian Oil, Reliance Oil, etc. And we go there and we fill the gasoline or we take the natural gas as per our requirement. This industry or this sector of the business is called distribution. So these are the different industry sectors associated with the downstream, upstream, and midstream industries of the oil and gas sector, which are the exploration, production, transportation, then refining, and finally distribution. Now we'll come to the industry facts. Industry deals with natural gas, natural hydrocarbons, oil and gas. Then oil is found all over the world and is produced in 95 different countries. Should not disappoint. Oil is found all over the world, but it's just produced in 95 different countries. The application of technology and the availability of the manpower and the financial backbone is a very important factor for production of oil and gas. We'll come to that detail in the coming slides. Saudi Arabia has got quarter of the world's oil reserve. 80 oil and gas field produces 7 to 8 million barrels of oil per day. And finally, largest gas service in Russia. Qatar is ranked third from the top. We just come to the competitive landscape, which are the major national oil companies in the region and who are the leading players in the the oil production, oil reserve, gas production, gas reserve, and also who are the super major organizations who are the decision takers in the oil and gas industry. Coming to the lead players, we can see the lead players in oil and gas industry are mainly national oil companies. Which is a national oil company or the control board of India. We have got the ONGC. Similarly, in different Middle East countries, we have got national oil companies like Saudi Aramco, which is the world's biggest national oil company. Then comes Iraq National Oil Company, INOC, Kuwait Petroleum Corporation that belongs to Kuwait. Then comes the National Iranian Oil Company, NIOC. Then finally, the Qatar Petroleum, QP. These are the 5 most leading national oil companies of the Middle East region. Now coming to the top 3 leaders, who are the leaders in oil production, oil reserve, gas production, and gas reserve. We can see Saudi Arabia is a leader in oil production and Russia is a leader in gas production. Saudi Arabia is the leader in oil reserve and Russia is the leader in the gas reserves. But coming to the second position, we can find that Russia is a second position holder in oil production, while US is the second top producer of gas. Then coming to the reserve, Iran grabs both the positions in oil reserve and gas reserve. Finally, for the oil production, we can say USA grabs the third position, while gas goes to Canada. Oil reserve is for Iraq and gas reserve is for Qatar. Here, we can find a serious disparity. Just see into what is the difference between production and reserve. Production is a capacity of an organization or a country to produce how much quantity of crude oil or natural gas per day. And the reserve is a tabulation, it's a calculation of what amount of crude oil or natural gas is not yet explored. In the case of Iran, Iran is the top reserve position holding in the oil and gas sectors. But we can see in the production side, they are nowhere. This is because even though you have got huge reserve, it depends upon many factors. The amount of money you are able to invest in the oil and gas sector, the availability of technology, and many other political factors influence the production capacity of a country. So let's come to the super major international oil companies. We can say these companies are the top-notch players who are the decision takers in the oil and gas sectors. They are the ExxonMobil, an American multinational company, then Royal Dutch Shell, headquartered in Netherlands, British Petroleum, Chevron, and ConocoPhillips. What these organizations do basically? This organization goes to companies or to countries. For example, in African countries, they have huge, enormous, splendid reserve of gas and crude oil, but they don't have the technology and money potential to invest in such organizations or in such industry. So they enter to long-term contracts for 25 years, up to 100 years, to produce a crude oil and natural gas for such countries, and they take a major stake of the production. Maybe 25 to 60% of the stake may be grabbed by such super major players, and they make huge money out of that. There are many other companies like the Total from France, then got the Maersk Oil, etc. are also huge players, and Occidental Petroleum, etc. have got joint ventures all around the world. So they're called the super major organizations in this sector. Now coming to the world top oil field contractors and clients. This is for information of our students. Bechtel, Technip, Aker, Chiyoda, SNC Lavalin, McDermott, JJC Corporation, Hyundai, Foster, etc. up to Saipem. And the client side, we can see Shell, British Petroleum, Total, British Gas Group, Origin, Qatar Petroleum, etc., are leading client-side organizations of oil and gas. Now coming to the renewable energy sources, which Siraj mentioned here. He was asking about the impact and the effect of utilizing or exploiting such natural resources and how it can affect the future of our energy sector. Obviously, there's a huge concern raised on the environmental impact and other social economical problems that may arise in the future. But we can say that there are a lot of emerging non-conventional mode of energy sectors like wind energy, biofuels, geothermal, nuclear, tidal, hydel, etc., which collectively now pays or contributes for just 40% of the energy sector requirement of the globe. The remaining 60% is still handled by the oil and gas sector. 60% of the energy requirement of the world is still catered or supplied by this single source of energy sector, which makes it crystal clear how important, how relevant, and how significant this particular industry is in the world economic scenario. But definitely, nowadays, the countries, even the big producers or the huge stakeholders in the oil and gas industry like United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, etc., are thinking about new and newer markets and innovative modes of energy, cleaner energies they call, or we can say green energies, which can be slowly replacing the conventional fuels and conventional sources of energies like the oil and gas and other non-renewable sources of energies. So definitely there's a huge investment and resource we can say research and development going on in this sector. Probably will be having better results in the future, and let us think about a greener future for our coming generations. So with that, I conclude the first part of our session, which is about the oil and gas industry. We discussed about the percentage of stake that the oil and gas industry have in the world. 60% of energy sector or energy requirements of the world is supplied by the oil and gas industry. Then we discussed why it is called as a black gold. We had a quick look into the origin or the chemistry of oil and gas hydrocarbons. Then we had information about the cooking of hydrocarbons. We call the solid status kerogen, the liquid status oil, and the gaseous state we name it as the natural gas. Then we saw what are the different streams associated with the oil and gas industry, which is the upstream, midstream, and downstream. Different industries associated with these streams, which are the exploration, production. Then we have got transportation, refining, and distribution. Then we looked into each of these industry in detail. Then we had a discussion about the refineries. Then we have a discussion about the national oil companies, the super major players, the top 3 leaders in different fields, and also about the non-conventional mode of energies and the future of the energy sectors. I think it's clear to you. If it's like that, I can just proceed to the next session. Is it okay, Ammar? I can proceed?
Sir, continue.
Okay. Any issues with the speed? Is the speed is okay?
Yeah, is it okay?
Okay, the audibility, everything's okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you have any concerns, anybody can type in the chat box. I'll be addressing it. And any questions, you can type in the chat box also. We'll try to discuss that in the last of the session. Now coming to the next part of the session, which is okay, coming to the next part of our session, which is the career planning. What do you mean by planning? I think you have to participants to mute the mic. Okay. So
management in the
okay, so what's the importance of planning, or what's the definition of planning? Planning can have a broad range of definitions. I'll try to make it very simple. Planning is something like preparing for the future. It should be correct, right? So just think about our session. Today we are sitting here to discuss about the oil and gas industry overview, its future opportunities, and all those career plannings which we can do for our students. There's a big planning behind this. Kerala, the mechanical engineering faculty's fraternity, they had an idea of conducting such a session, and Mr. Ammar and Prakashan sir, also Mr. Subair sir, they contacted me. We had a number of discussions about it. We decided what should be the takeaway of this particular session? What should be the objective of the session? What are going to be the audience of the session? And how much time we can allocate for the session? When it can be done? And how it should be done, etc., etc. A lot of planning was done behind this. And many people from Malabar, from mechanical engineering faculty, everybody had worked hard to conduct this session in a very successful manner. And today we are enjoying its result. Similarly, the career of our students has to be clearly planned. And this planning will help them to reach their career goal and actualize their dream in their life. Just see this picture. We know that our students, our kids, they need help of their siblings or maybe parents or teachers when they are in their small ages. We can say when they are adolescents or they're the youngster ages. Slowly, they cover that session and they enter to the professional degrees, or they go to colleges, and their next aim is to get a job. Once they get a job, their next goal or aim, we can say, is to touch their career goal. So we have to help them to set their career goal, which in turn leads them to their social commitment. What do you mean by social commitment? Social commitment is nothing but giving back to the society. For example, I am sitting in front of you and discussing all these things as a part of my social commitment. I would like to contribute something back to the society, and I would like to impart something from my experience and my knowledge that will be helpful for our faculty members and our students. This is called social commitment. Different people will be having different social commitments. And finally, touching the self-actualization. What do you mean by self-actualization? Each and every one of us are being created by the God for a particular purpose. None of us are being created for no reason. So touching the pinnacle of success in my life and touching the dream actualization or the purpose of my life is nothing but self-actualization. Realizing that for what purpose I am being born, I have to just realize and actualize. That point, I understand that I have reached the self-actualization point in my life. Now coming to the planning, the importance of planning, career planning. Why do planning help? Just see into these two pictures. The first picture, you can see a man. He's just gazing in a very calm environment. The sea is very calm. There is no obstacle. There is no waves. There is no any signs of any we can say sort of negative or difficult hurdles in front of him. See this second picture. We can see that the sky is very cloudy. The sea is very tidy, and we can say the waves are high and rough. But what's the difference between these two pictures? Whom we can see that he is well planned, and who is most probably is having higher probability to get successful? Of course, the second person. What is the reason? We can see that the first person, he doesn't have a goal. He doesn't know where to go. He hasn't set his goal. He doesn't know where his destination is. But the second person, even though he's having a lot of hurdles in front of him, a lot of difficulties and challenges in front of him, he's prepared and he knows where he to go. That's called goal setting. We should know where is our final destination, what I want to be in my life, where I should reach in my career, what should be my career goal, how should I dispatch my social commitment, how can I touch my self-actualization point in my life. That's called goal setting. Now, coming to, just give me a second, please. Sorry, am I audible, Ammar?
Yes, sir.
I was asked to reduce the speed of my speech. This is my problem actually. ഇങ്ങനെ പ്രശ്നമുണ്ട്. ഞാൻ സംസാരിച്ചു തുടങ്ങിയാൽ കുറച്ച് സ്പീഡ് കൂടും. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ തുടക്കത്തിൽ തന്നെ പറഞ്ഞത് എനി ടൈം സ്പീഡ് കൂടാൻ തോന്നുകയാണെങ്കിൽ we can listen to. How about the second person? He is well prepared. You know that he's going to face a lot of challenges. So we can see that he is wearing his swimming gears. He has got all the preparations to overcome the challenges in that rough sea. He is going to face a lot of challenges for the I think somebody has unmuted their mic.
Ammar sir, please mute your.
Ammar, can you please mute? Okay, thank you. So this second person is well prepared. He has got a very good planning strategy. He knows that he's going to face a lot of challenges and he's well prepared to face those challenges. And finally, the third person, the first person, he's not putting any sort of effort. The first person, we can see that he has no swimming gears, no swimming suits. He's just gazing at the calm sea. He's not doing any effort also, the third point. But the second person, he is expending his effort. He's putting his right attempt to reach his destination. So this is why planning will help. In the case of our students, their career has to be planned properly so that they can have a better idea, a better vision about what they actually have to be, what skills they have to attain, what sort of qualities they have to improve, how they can be better professionals in the future, how I can be competitive in an interview, how I can be a better candidate by overcoming all the challenges, all the problems in the market, and how I can be the best. This part is very important for our faculty members to be aware about, because it is those faculty members who are considered as the mentors for our students. So faculty members should be able to impart such interpersonal skills to our students so that they will be better professionals of the future. We'll see one by one how we can do this. Now, how to plan for the career for the next 10 years. This pyramid is a career pyramid. It's an imaginary pyramid. All of us know we want to reach a point of our career goal. For that, what is the basic fire inside us? When we were kids, we were asked, what is your ambition? Our teachers used to ask us what your ambition is. This ambition is the fire or the spark inside us. This ambition has to be nurtured. It has to be given fertilizer and water so that this grows into our career goal. This goes into our dreams. So what's the difference between career and dream? Career is something related to our professional life. We can say something related to our job, our professional accomplishments, etc. But dreams is something related to our life. What we want to be in our life. What changes I can do in my life for this world. How can I prove that I am a successful person for myself, my family, my friends, my teachers, my society, and for the entire nation and the world? And what sort of good virtues and values I leave behind once I leave this world. That's called the dream. What I want to be in my life. What sort of contributions, what sort of changes, and what sort of attributes I can impart to the rest of the world. So to start your career, we have got a time span. Time span is different for different people. But, you know, the way you pace towards, you trudge towards your career goal is different for different person. You know, time is a big blessing from God. Time is a blessing which is equally divided with everybody. Every person, single person in this world has got 24 hours every day. Let it be Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, and let it be a very poor layman or a normal worker who works in his profession. Both of them, the time or the blessing of time is equally divided by God. It is up to each person to decide how he utilizes his time, how better he can capitalize this most valuable resource which is available in his life. Accordingly, the pace of career progression may be different for different people. People who capitalize the best resource of time, who utilize this time to improve their professional skills, to learn new things, to broaden their skills, to understand better about the industry, and to pace towards their career goal, they utilize the time span better and they can reach their career goal more faster, and they will be trudging towards the self-actualization and social commitment stages in a much better pace than others. So it depends upon how better we utilize the resources in our hand. Our teachers are our resources. Our parents are our resources. Our time is our resources. Our books are our resources. Internet is a huge resource. Technology is a huge resource. So there are n number of resources all around us. We are blessed with such huge potential of resources, which is up to us how to utilize it, how to exploit it, how to capitalize it, how to make the best use out of it. And hence, we can say that it depends upon person to person how fast he trudges towards his career goal. So it is how we can help our students to inspire them, to motivate them, to guide them, to mentor them, to utilize all these resources and blessings around them in the best possible way, so that they will be better professionals of the future. They can be better technocrats of the industry, and they will be having an upper hand in the competitive edge of the industry. Coming to the relations, life is all about relations. See, I have got my teachers who taught me at school and our colleges. We have very strong relation with these teachers because they were not only imparting us the bookish knowledge, they were guiding us by imparting a lot of life values. They gave us a lot of opportunities to explore, to perform, to lead, to get exposed to real life problems. When I was studying in the engineering college, we had very good relation with our teachers, which we still maintain because those teachers are our life mentors. And it is the responsibility of every faculty member to impart such life values, core strengths to our students, so that they will keep on remembering you until the last mile of their life. And such teachers goes that extra mile deep into the life of such students. And they can influence and they can make a real impact. So my dear students who are hearing my words, life is all about relations. Even if you reach your career goal, you achieve your dream, whatever stages of life you are going to conquer, without having good relation with your parents, with your teachers, with your siblings, with your friends, with your society, you are not going to enjoy any of these professional accomplishments or career goals. Career goal is definitely a big object in your life. At the same time, life is all about relations, which will help you to enjoy your career goal and your dream actualization. So impart core values, leadership skills, crisis management, etc. to our students. We'll see that one by one in the coming slides. Ammar, is my speed okay now?
Yes.
Now, some career development facts, or some facts which we should be first aware about ourselves. We should be very clear about it. What is the importance of such career development facts? And further, we have to impart the same to our students and give them opportunities and provide them platform to get exposure to such career development scenarios. The first one is communication skills. See, our students are very good at their academic credentials. They may be having very good marks in their mark sheets. They are having very good scores in their exams. They are very good in performance in that way in the academic side. Unfortunately, we can see that students coming from Kerala especially, their communication skills are very poor. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not trying to put anybody into a corner, but I have to state the fact. How we will overcome this? Communication skill is not just knowing about English language. It's not like that. It's a wrong perception. Communication skill is about how good you can express yourself. Whatever knowledge you have, whatever information you process, whatever expertise you possess, doesn't matter to a third person until and unless you are able to express it in a very effective way. Only those people who are able to communicate properly their ideas and their workmanship will be able to have a competitive edge in interviews and also in the industry. So my dear students and my dear faculty members, we have to keep this point a very strong oath in our life that we have to put all effort, possible effort, to improve the communication skills of our students. And how it can be done. The first thing is that there is no shortcut to improve communication skills. The best way and the best way is always talk. Speak in English. Let us have a buddy system. Let one student make a buddy with another student, a friend of him. Let them spend at least half an hour every day talking in English, because the industry doesn't speak Malayalam. Industry speaks English. And English is an internationally acknowledged and internationally accepted industry language. So we have to be gaining experience in that. We have to read good articles. We have to read scientific journals. We have to subscribe such channels here through audios, videos, subscribing ebooks, etc. can be done to improve your technical vocabulary and also your literal vocabulary. The second thing is that you have to, the first thing is like selecting a buddy and make a plan in reading side, talking side, speaking side, etc. Second is utilize some professional platforms. We have some professional platforms like Toastmasters International Clubs. Toastmasters is nothing but it's a club which helps people to improve their communication skill and their leadership skills. One of the Toastmasters club which I know in the nearby area is in Peridhalmanna. Everywhere it's available in Ernakulam, Thrissur, Calicut, Malappuram. Everywhere we can find a Toastmasters club. In Toastmasters club, nobody is a master. Everybody is a learner. Everybody supports each other to improve their communication skills. In Peridhalmanna, I know one of the facilitator of the Peridhalmanna Toastmasters Club is Madam Aisha Maiduti. She is a facilitator from Silver Mounts International School in Peridhalmanna, where my kids to study. And you can get in touch with such mentors who will be able to happily guide our students to the next level of their communication skills. So let us strive to improve our communication skills and inspire our students to do so that they will be having an upper hand in their future industrial life. Now coming to attitude grooming. I don't have to explain much things about attitude grooming. You know, a positive attitude is the base of all success. All of us are going through a very tough situation of the COVID-19 context, or this pandemic. There are a lot of challenges we are facing. Many industries are undergoing depression. There is a big fall in the GDP of most of the countries in the world. There is a huge economic stress and depression happening in the entire industries. It's there. It's a truth. We have to accept. But there is no point in saying that, okay, let me go with the depression. I cannot change the world. I don't have nothing much to do. No, it's not like that. See, there are two things in this life, our life. Things under our control, things not under our control. Such things like the world economic failure or the industrial depression or something big things happening is not under our control. But there are many things under our control. Our professional enhancement is under control. Our financial discipline is under control. Our development of skills, etc., etc. There are a lot of things still which we can improve, which we can still challenge upon, and we can go to the next level of such things which are under our control. Let us focus on that. Let us focus on things under our control and just leave the rest aside. Don't think about negative things and the industry depressions and world economic situation. It's not our business. Do our part, and the rest will be taken care of by the God. Now, leadership skills. My dear faculty members, this is a very important point we have to understand. We have to give opportunities for our students. I'm talking to the faculty members, and all of you are also parents also, right? Myself is a parent, yourself is a parent, and maybe some other parents who are not faculty members may be listening this session. Everyone, we have to make sure that our students will be having at least a minimum capacity to lead in front and solve some issues in their life. We can say that crisis management is also a part of that. We'll come to that point later. So give them some exposure, give them some opportunities, provide some of them platforms to solve some serious issues in their life. Don't always solve issues for them. Just give them the confidence. We are with you. Whatever happens to you, we are here. But don't think that we'll be solving the issues for you. You have to find a solution for yourself. Let it be right or wrong, doesn't matter. But get exposed, get trained, have these leadership skills in your life. Only those people who are having leadership skills, they will be able to solve the issues in their professional life, their personal life. Otherwise, we are hearing a lot of bad news all around us because our students are not having the capacity to manage a crisis. Now coming to growth seeking. My dear students, we should not always go behind monetary benefits. Of course, money is very important in life. That's correct. But that doesn't mean that money is everything. If you want to build a very good, successful career or a professional life, then you have to stick towards growth-seeking fields. I'll give you an example. When we were studying in the college, that time IT was in the top notch of its pinnacle or its success level, we can say. So most of the students who passed out, even in mechanical engineering or electrical or communication, they were opting to go to the IT field because the salary packages were very attractive. Those who stick to the core field, they had very rare opportunity to get a good opening or a good monetary benefits or salary in their jobs. But throughout the life, what we experience now, after 15 years to 17 years of our career, we can find that those people who started with the IT, non-core fields, they are still stuck up with their career without much growth. But people who selected with the low salaries but into the core field, they had a very strong career graph and they have reached the pinnacle of success in their career achievements. So always go for growth seeking. Don't go behind monetary benefits in the initial years of your career. Now coming to crisis management. What is a crisis? Life is we always face crisis, right? Now we are facing a big crisis. We are facing the COVID-19 pandemic. So managing a crisis is managing the life. Whenever our students are given exposure to manage some crises, and they will be able to understand the problems of their fellow beings. Those who are able to understand the problems of their fellow beings, they will be having the capacity to influence their team. Those who can influence their team, they will automatically emerge as the leaders. And those leaders will be growing into the next level of their career and professional enhancements. So give opportunities for our students to manage crises in their life. Let them know the problems. Let them get exposed to the issues. Let them be a part of our life. We don't want to provide them all the soft bed and red roses and they make their path so smoothie like that they will not be able to handle a real problem in their family life, professional life, in their social life, etc. So these things are basic points which we have to understand ourselves as mentors and which we will be able to impart to our students as our disciples. Now coming to engineering applications. There are basically 4 different applications for any engineering stream. They are development of a product or technology, projects related to a product or technology, sales of one or more product or technology, and finally services related to one or more technology. Development, projects, sales, and services. I'll give you an example, then it will be very clear for you. Suppose you want to buy a car. What is the first step in manufacturing a car? Somebody should design a prototype with all the required specifications, all the required features, efficiency, etc., has to be designed by a group of engineers. This is called the development of a product, which is the first point. Development of a product or technology. The prototype of a car is developed with all its specifications, features, capacities, efficiency, etc. Now what next? Once a prototype is developed, we have to produce, we have to manufacture this car on an industrial basis, or we can say we take it to an assembly line manufacturing unit where the car is being manufactured. That's called project. This prototype is converted to an end product through a project, and project has got different stages like initiation, then we got execution, monitoring and control. There are a lot of attributes like risk assessment, planning that will come one by one. We'll just see in the project management side. So that's called the projects. First is development of product. Second is producing that particular product or project. Third one is what happens to the car after producing. It goes to the showroom. Is it right? It goes to the showroom and the sales people take care of that car further. So as a customer, I go to the showroom, I talk to the salesperson or sales engineer that I need a car of this budget, this much efficiency, this much capacity, and this variant, and he will propose us this variant of this particular model of car is suiting your requirement. So that's the sales part. And after sales, what happens? We take the car, we drive it on the road, and after 5,000 or 10,000 kilometers, we need some preventive maintenance, or we meet some accidents, we need some breakdown maintenance, etc. We come back to the showroom for service. Okay, so these are the basic 4 streams. Let it be the chemical industry, the petroleum industry, or let it be the power industry, wherever you consider, these are the basic 4 narrow classification of engineering applications where any technocrat or any engineer can work. I hope it's clear. Now, a typical hierarchy. Being said that, I'll just give an example where and all our engineers or diploma students or engineering graduates can find an opening in the industry. The first one I would like to introduce is about vendors. Who are vendors? Before that, let me see. This picture is a pictorial representation of a project of building a refinery. The end user is a client like ONGC or maybe like Bangalore refinery or maybe Qatar Petroleum, etc. They are the end users. So the vendors are those people who always supplies the modules, or we can say who supplies the raw materials for manufacturing different sub-modules of this project. For example, consider here, we have got control valves by Fisher, temperature transmitters by ABB, steel pipe by Tata Steel. These three vendors, this Fisher supplies, Fisher is a vendor, they supply the control valve, ABB is another vendor, they supply the temperature transmitter, Tata Steel is another vendor, they supply the steel pipes. It has been combined by a subcontractor and they creates this particular platform array. Or we can say these are the three different vendors who are working under this subcontractor. And again, the control system is supplied by Siemens. Siemens is another vendor. Now, the electromechanical array of the platform or the production station is being produced by, manufactured by the Tata Steel, gives the steel pipe. They are the vendors for the steel pipe. Schneider is the vendor for the electrical products. Alstom is a vendor for the mechanical equipments. So the electromechanical array or the system for this particular refinery is being integrated or is being made possible, or the submodule is created by using the products from these three different vendors by a subcontractor. So we have got three different modules of this particular refinery. We have got the control system given by Siemens. We have got electromechanical system given by the Schneider, Alstom, and Tata Steel. And also we have the platform or the production station platform provided by the vendors like Fisher, ABB, and Tata Steel. So these different integrations are done by subcontractors. So the main contractor integrates these three submodules. They integrate these three submodules and hand over to the client as a final refinery. So the client accepts this particular project from the main contractor. In between the contractor and the client, there is another body called consultant, which is not shown here. Consultants works on the side of the client. Consultants write down the specifications. They write down the quality requirements of each and every raw materials or the supplies which are being used by the contractor, and the industry standards are adhered or not. That is the job of the consultant. Consultant works on the side of the client to make sure everything works as per the project requirement. There are a lot of modules, or there are a lot of factors to be considered while a project is being running or a project is being executed. Like we have to assess the risk management. We have to assess the manpower management. We have to assess the budget, that's the financial management. We have to assess the end commissioning, that's commissioning management. So there are a lot of things to be assessed and made sure that the project is running as per the required specification and quality of the client, which is made sure by the consultant. So I'll just summarize. Vendors are those who supplies the raw materials or components, basic components required for the project. Subcontractors are those who integrates these components to make different sub-modules of the project. The main contractor integrates all these modules together and they make the final project. And the clients are those who accept or they pay for this particular project to the contractor, and they accept this particular project from the contractor. And finally, the consultants. Consultants are those who works for the clients to make sure the project is running as per the stipulated time, budget, risk, quality, etc. So these are the 5 different possible openings or possible, we can say, sectors our students can seek for: vendors, subcontractors, contractors, consultants, and finally clients. It's a ladder, like they can start with the vendor side, then they can go to a subcontractor side, then switch to the contractor side, then go to the consultant, and finally towards the client side. Hope that's clear. Now we'll come to a broad classification of mechanical engineering jobs. I cannot classify the mechanical engineering jobs in the oil and gas industry in one day. It's a very wide application. You can say mechanical engineers are the most versatile and have got the most highest degree of application in oil and gas sector. Not only in oil and gas sector, in any energy sector. But I have picked very catchy, very important few streams which our students must know for their future exploration of jobs. First one is materials engineer. What do you mean by materials engineer? I've told you about vendors, right? So the clients will be having some materials engineers either on the client side or on the consultant side. These materials engineers make sure that all the materials that are being supplied by the vendors are as per the required specification, required quality standards, required industry standards, and maybe also country-specific standards of the particular project and a particular organization. For example, Qatar Petroleum will be having a very clearly written documentation for the standards of their materials. It is the material engineers make sure every purchase, every material being supplied is done as per the standards. Now coming to rotating equipment engineers. You know what are rotating equipment engineers better than me, like compressors, pumps, etc. We have in offshore platforms huge compressors and huge pumps which has to be well maintained. Sometimes during the shutdown project and all, we have got a very strong team of rotating equipment engineers who come for this specialized job, and they take care about the compressors and pumps. Within a short duration of time, they have to rectify all the problematic parts and they have to do the maintenance in a very stipulated manner. You know why? If the compressors and pumps are down for half day, the organization is going to lose millions of dollars. So the well maintenance and making sure the reliability, availability, and strength, integrity of such rotating equipments is a high, or we can say important or very significant part of the oil and gas industry. So such rotating equipment engineers are very crucial. Their role is very significant, and they are very highly paid also. Now coming to the pipeline inspection. You know, all the crude oil, I have already showed you the pipeline array here on the contractor side. These pipelines are used for transporting the crude oil on a particular pressure level. And also pipelines are used for transporting crude oil in the seabed from one point of exploration to another point of refining. So pipeline inspectors are those who clearly inspects the strength and integrity of each pipeline to make sure that its aging factors are considered, that its working capacity is well maintained, and everything related to the integrity of the pipeline is well adhered to. So pipeline inspection is a very hot job for mechanical engineers. Coming to planning engineers. Planning is a part of any project or any operation or any plant or any refinery or whichever industry associated with oil and gas. Planning engineers are those business analysts who plans the entire maintenance schedule for 1 year or maybe for at least quarterly or biannually. They plan how much manpower is required for doing a particular project or a particular maintenance activity or a particular operational requirement or even a shutdown activity. They plan the requirement of materials. They plan the requirement of financial backup requirement. They plan the requirement of supporting vessels, ships, material transfer, etc., etc. Everything has to be planned as per the schedule. And there are a lot of courses like MS Primavera, etc., which helps you to be better planning engineers. So this is also handled by mechanical engineers. Now coming to HVAC engineers. HVAC engineers has got a very crucial role, especially in the offshore locations. These HVAC engineers are basically mechanical engineers who take care about the heating, ventilation, air conditioning, cooling, refrigeration, etc. of a plant. A plant will be having different platforms, like we have got the electrical power generation platforms, AEGs are there, pumps are there, we have got RGT control rooms, we have got a DCS system, SCADA system, etc. So everywhere, the ventilation, air conditioning, and cooling system of these control systems are very crucial. So HVAC engineers make sure everything is as per the standards of that particular industry. Now coming to the procurement engineer. Procurement engineers are those people who make sure that the procurement done by the contractor or by the subcontractor in the integration part of the project or the process or the operations are as per the budgetary requirement and quality standards stipulated by the consultant or the client. Means they take care everything about buying. They should be able to enter into contracts. Contract management is a very important part. Like the contract will be like, there are different types of contracts. Like material time contract is there, long-term contract is there, then short-term contracts are there. So procurement engineers enter into contracts for the client side or the consultant side with the contractors, and they make sure everything works as per the contract. The contract speaks. Once you start the project, there is no more verbal communication. Everything goes through paper. So contracts engineering or procurement engineering is very important part. Then comes the estimation engineers. Estimation engineers in the mechanical side, of course, they estimate every requirement of a particular project or a plant or a refinery or whatever you need. Like they design the complete, for example, in HVAC field, the HVAC field, you should have an estimation engineer. This estimation engineer, they estimates the load, the capacity, of the outer units, ODUs, IDUs, indoor units, etc., has to be properly planned, has to be properly estimated so that the plant or the process runs without failure. Then comes project engineer. As I told you before, projects are everywhere. Everything can be related to a project. Even our discussion is a project. I'm discussing with you about oil and gas industry, its overview, its opportunities, etc. It's a project. There should be an initiation for that. There should be preparation for that. There should be an execution for that. Proper monitoring and control should be done, and properly I should hand over the project. Similarly, any organization who is in the oil and gas or any industry in the oil and gas segment will be having project engineers who will be taking care about the entire process of the project, and they make sure the project is handed over as per the required specification of the client. So these are the most very choosy, very picky positions which I have taken, which may be helpful for our students and helpful for our faculty members to impart to our future engineering aspirants. Now coming to the post, now we have completed the second part also, like the career planning and job-related discussions about mechanical engineering. Finally, we are coming to the post-COVID world challenges and opportunities and how we should prepare ourselves to face the future of technology, the future of challenges. Am I okay with my speed, Ammar?
Yes, sir.
Can I proceed?
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's clear.
So, all of us know that we are facing a lot of challenges today. It's a truth. It's a fact. We have never faced such a scenario in our life, even our fathers or even forefathers. I don't want to mention the word COVID in my presentation. I don't want to discuss about it. But no discussion or no forum is going to complete without mentioning about the future of post-COVID world. You know that many economic scientists like Dr. Raghuram Rajan, who is a former RBI governor, he had predicted that this particular crisis in the post-COVID world is going to extend up to 2023. It's going almost to be 300% of the market depression which happened in 2008. Normally, any economic depression which should take a shape of the alphabet V means the economic status will go down steeply and it will come up very fast. That's a V shape is the normal shape of any depression. But in the case of the post-COVID scenario, the depression or the financial stress is going to take a shape of the alphabet U. Means the depression is going down and the economic status of the GDP reaches its worst scenario. It continues in the same level for a few years or a few duration, and it comes up after that only. So we have to expect the worst. Being said that, human beings in the human history, we had overcome bigger challenges than this. We had faced huge crises than this. We know that in the Second World War, only 6.5 crore people were killed. In Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombing, almost 2.29 lakh people were perished. Still the situation is going on. We had huge financial crises, industry depressions, economic stress. Everything happened all around the world, but human beings has the capacity to overcome all these. Definitely, COVID will be also having a positive face. It will be presenting us some new opportunities. We're going to face a new normal life, or all of us are ready to be acquainted, adopt this new normal life. This cloud computing, the Zoom, or I mean the Google Meet, which we are talking each other, it's a positive part of COVID. Just think about 1 year back. If somebody is asking you to take a class in online to your students, you may be reluctant to do that. But now we are all acquainted with the online platform. Within 3 months to 6 months, we have taken a technological leap or technological pace for 3 years to 6 years. We have advanced drastically. Our expenditure has come down. Our way of life has become more simpler. Our marriages have become so thin, etc., etc. are the positives of COVID. And there's a saying by world famous author Napoleon Hill in his bestseller book Think and Grow Rich, in which he interviewed almost 500 successful entrepreneurs of the world of his era, and he wrote this statement: any difficulty or any challenge life brings to you, there is an equal or a better opportunity that's waiting for you. So there should be a positive part for the COVID also. Let us see how we can overcome the problems or the depression scenario, and how as mentors, as faculty members, we will impart this quality in our students also. Professional attributes those students should be able to understand and pursue in their future to be better technocrats. First of all, adaptability and flexibility. What do you mean by adaptability? Adaptability is coping with changes. I'll give an example. It will be very easy for you to understand. Consider about the mobile phone brand Nokia and the car Ambassador. Nokia and Ambassadors were leaders in their field. In my memory, the only mobile phone which was available when we were studying in the college was Nokia and Alcatel. Now this Nokia and Alcatel is not available in the market. Instead, Samsung, Huawei, Apple iPhone, etc. have taken the lead in the market. Similarly, Ambassador was the only available best brand in our market, Indian market. From the Prime Minister to the village officer, everybody was using this particular brand, Ambassador. But now we cannot see Ambassador anywhere in our roads. What is the reason? Nokia and Ambassador were not able to cope with the changes. They were not able to understand what actually the market needs. What are the requirements of the customers? How I can change myself and be more adaptable to the new world requirements. Those brands like Suzuki, Toyota, etc., Apple, Samsung, and Huawei, they were very adaptable to the changes and they flourished the market, while the old leaders, they had to perish. Then comes flexibility. What do you mean by flexibility? Flexibility is able to manage with any situation. Again, I'll give you an example. We have got a very famous hotel in Qatar, which we call as the Doha Sheraton. You should be able to sleep in a room or an executive room. Just give me 1 minute, please. Class so we should be able to sleep in that executive suite room of the Sheraton. At the same time, if we want to sleep in a normal bench of a railway station or a KSRTC bus stand, we should be able to manage that also. That's called flexibility. We should be able to live ourselves and manage ourselves in any best situation and the worst situation which we may face. Then comes to long-term perspective. Any problem should be seen with a long-term perspective. What do you mean by long-term perspective? Again, come back to our life. We'll think about our example. Remember about 20 years ago, we had a lot of problems in our life. But those problems changed, and 10 years ago, those problems which was there 20 years before were not existing. And before 10 years or 10 years ago, our problems were different. Again, we traveled the journey of life. We reached 5 years ago, our problems were again different. Which doesn't mean that we didn't have problems. We were having problems 10 years ago, but it changed and we had new fresh problems 10 years ago. Again, the situation changed and our problems were different 5 years ago. In 2018 and 2019, our major issue was the flood and the landsliding. And 2020, we doesn't face that problem, but we are facing some new or fresher issues like the COVID-19. Again, this problem is going to change. Maybe after 5 years, we'll be still having problems, but it will be in a different phase, different style, and maybe a different issue. As they say, this time will also pass. So whenever we take things in a long-term perspective, we will definitely be able to find a solution for such issues. Now coming to the convenience and collaboration. What do you mean by convenience? Again, I'll go with an example. It will be easy for you to understand. We have got huge, giant shopping complexes like Lulu hypermarket or Big Bazaar, etc. We would have never imagined 1 year back that we order in our WhatsApp or in their application that these huge giants will be supplying their groceries in our doorstep. 1 year back, it was not possible. But now we have an application, or we just take their WhatsApp number and we send the message, whatever groceries we need, they are ready to bring it to our doorsteps, because convenience of the customer is going to be the biggest selling point of the future. Similarly, collaboration. What do you mean by collaboration? Again, I'll quote an example. See, every industry is having a core expertise and a non-core expertise. Core expertise is nothing but what they can do the best. In the oil and gas industry, production of crude oil is the core production, their core field, we can say. Other things like finance, HR, IT, etc. are not their core operations or core expertise. So in collaborative business, we outsource such sections or such streams of business to those people who are able to handle it in a better and a cost-effective way. This is called outsourcing business or collaborative business. Another example, if a company wanted to rent a warehouse, before organizations rent their own warehouse and pay the rent. But now in the new scenario, in the post-COVID world, the new world, 2 or 3 organizations, they combine each other and they rent a particular warehouse and they share the rent so that it will be more cost effective. So convenience and collaboration is going to be a big selling point of the future. Newer markets. See, everywhere new things are coming up and new trends are emerging, and new ideas, new businesses, new technologies are leading the market. I'll just give an example of Swiggy and Talabat. Talabat is one of the most leading home delivery system in the Middle East. They flourished like anything within these 6 months of the COVID lockdown. Similarly, in India, we have got the Uber Eats or maybe the Swiggy, etc. These businesses had made almost 9,000% of growth, which we can see in their statistics. Just think about Zoom. Their growth was almost 1,000%. So always look into newer markets, newer possibilities, better adaptability features, which the customers will be accepting in the future, which is again going to be the need of the hour. Now coming to the transitions in the industry, what changes are happening in the industry and how we can cope towards it. First one, imprudent to cost effective. Just consider the situation of the oil and gas industry. All of you know, oil and gas industry is a very hot industry where you have got good payment for salaries, all the standards, living standards, the facilities, everything are given the best. But now companies have changed their strategies. Every single dollar or single rupees being spent is clearly analyzed whether it's worth for the money being expended. So the culture is changing from imprudent to cost effective. Coming to the next thing, broad skills to specific skills. Before, when you recruit a particular person for a particular position, you will be looking into whether you have got management skills, you have got technical skills, whether you have got administrative skills, you have got organization skills, you have got literary skills, you have got communication skills, etc., were clearly analyzed. I mean, whoever is having a broad skill was having a better level of employability. But now things are changing. Such broad skill people will be paid with a huge salary also. But now changing into the cost effective way, now the industries are looking into people for specific skills. Here our Polytechnic students have got a big role to play. Organizations recruit those candidates with basic technical background. They train them, give them on-job OJTs, on-job trainings, give them good mentoring, then induct them and further deploy them to the jobs with a particular scale of salary. Maybe not huge, but not bad. Of course, there's a good opening and a good opportunity for our diploma students. So broad skills to specific skills, knowing to doing. Before, it was very important to see how much you know, what are your credentials, what background you have, what are certifications you have done, what is your CV, the strength of your CV, etc. was much considered while recruiting an employee. But now, the very simple question is, what you can do for us? Are you able to do this job or not? Have you got the experience to do this? Whether you'll be able to perform it or not? Are you a good learner in this field? Finish. Not knowing, you should be able to do. You should be able to do it. Performance matters. Now coming offline to online. Very clear. I don't have to explain it. Everything. See, if I am telling, I used to go to different campuses of the state and I used to interact with students and faculty members. If I am stubborn enough and saying that, no, I will not be going to the colleges, I will not be going to interact with anybody unless everything is back to normal. I don't want to use these online platforms. Maybe for next 2-3 years, I will not find any opportunity for interaction. Since I am adaptable enough, flexible enough to switch from offline to online, I was able to do it. So every meetings, every purchasing, every project meetings, every recruitment, everything is going to be in the online sector for the next few years. At least maybe this is going to be the future. You know why? These things cannot be like, this gives you a huge savings in time, savings in resources, savings in money, etc. effort. So this is going to be the future of technology. I mean, the future of industries. Now coming conventional to innovative. I'll just give you a small example. It will be very clear for you. You know about Uber. Most of you will be using Uber cars, Uber taxis. Uber by itself as an entity doesn't own even a single taxi, but it is the world's biggest taxi service provider. So that innovative thought of providing taxi services for a nominal rate, beneficial for the customer, at the same time beneficial for the service provider and also the owner of the car, created a new door for a huge business. So innovation matters. Innovation and technology matters. Whoever is not able to innovate themselves, change themselves, adapt to the technology will not be able to cope with the transitions. And coming to the last part of our discussion, it's the future of technology. Whatever fields which we are explored to in oil and gas or whichever energy sector, there are a lot of emerging scientific developments and techniques which is going to be the future of technology. The first one is, of course, artificial intelligence. I'll give you an example. Kerala government is going to enter an agreement with IBM for the next 20 years. It's a very long-term project in which the objective is that no single tap of Kerala should leak a single drop of water. And it can be detected from the control room. And this artificial intelligence project is going to save us a huge cost in the next 100 years. So it's a very long-term project. So artificial intelligence is everywhere now. We can see machine language learning and data mining everywhere. Artificial intelligence is going to be the future of technology. Next comes automation. Nowadays, everybody is working from home. I think we can say that most of the people prefer to work from home. Organizations have to pay lesser rents. Transportation costs are cut short, the manpower time has been saved, etc. There's a lot of benefits for work from home. So automation, office automation, home automation creates big platforms where people are able to work from their home, and it creates new ventures and new platforms for exploration in the future. Then comes to cloud computing. I don't want to explain about it much. You know about the cloud computing platform which we are chatting each other, Google Meet. So there's a lot of opportunities coming up in this field. Then comes data science. Data science is nothing but it's a interdisciplinary function which combines data from scientific methods, processes, algorithms, machine learning languages, etc. to develop structured and unstructured technology and thereby support the running fields. Maybe it has got a huge application in the oil and gas industry and other energy sectors. So data science, similar to artificial intelligence, is also an emerging field. Comes gig economy. What do you mean by gig economy? Gig economy is nothing but working at your convenience. That's it. Again, I caught the example of Uber. If I have got a car, I just enter to the Uber service provider, I log in, and I can work from morning 8 to 2 up to my convenience, 6 hours. Then I just log out from the system. I can go back to my home. I can enjoy with my kids. I can live the rest of my life my own. So gig economy is something like which works as per the convenience of the service provider, convenience of the customer, and the convenience of the market requirement. So this is going to be the future. Always convenience is going to play a big role. So gig economy is going to be the future of every economy. One by one, it will change like that. So finally, the remote learning, you know better than me, much better than me, the faculty members will be good stakeholders and expertised in remote learning. We have a lot of remote learning platforms like EDX provided by MIT and Harvard. Then Udemy is a huge online platform, online learning platform. Then we've got Skills India portal. We've got National Digital Library run by our Ministry of Health and Research Development, MHRD. Then speaking to tutorials, speaking library by IIT Mumbai. So there are then TED Education portal. Like that, there are a lot of online learning resources. That's my kids are using a portal called Epic Learning. Epic Learning is nothing but it's a portal which provides you a number of books, scientific books, fiction books, literature, whatever you name it, you have it. It's all free for first 3 months, and you can add a new subscription and take it free for next 3 months. So like that, we have got a lot of online resources, online learning platforms, and maybe going to the future universities, going to colleges and learning one-to-one, maybe not easy and may not be the trend of the future. Definitely remote learning and learning management systems will be taking the place. So there are a lot of developments happening in the technology accordingly. I don't want to extend my talk much. Already my time has been finished. By this, I would like to conclude my speech and my session. Thanks a lot for listening. As a conclusion, I would like to say, ഒരു ചൊല്ലുണ്ട് മലയാളത്തിൽ, പ്രതിഭാസങ്ങൾ സൃഷ്ടിക്കുക എന്നത് കാലത്തിന് പുത്തിരിയല്ലോ. പ്രതിഭകളാകുന്ന നമ്മുടെ ഫാക്കൽറ്റി മെമ്പേഴ്സും നമ്മുടെ മെന്റേഴ്സും അവർ ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്ന പുതിയ പുതിയ പ്രതിഭാസങ്ങളായ നമ്മുടെ വിദ്യാർത്ഥികളും, അങ്ങനെ വലിയ പ്രതിഭാസങ്ങൾ സൃഷ്ടിക്കുന്ന പ്രതിഭകളായിക്കൊണ്ട് നമ്മുടെ വിദ്യാർത്ഥികൾ വളരട്ടെ. അതിന് നമ്മുടെ അധ്യാപകർക്കും ഫാക്കൽറ്റി മെമ്പേഴ്സിനും ഇതിന്റെ ഈ ഉദ്യമത്തിന്റെ പിന്നിൽ നിൽക്കുന്ന എല്ലാവർക്കും അതിന് കഴിയട്ടെ. അത്തരത്തിലുള്ള ഒരു നല്ല ശോഭനമായ ഭാവി നമുക്കും നമ്മുടെ കുട്ടികൾക്കും ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കട്ടെ എന്ന് ആശംസിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഒരുപാട് നന്മകൾക്ക് വേണ്ടി ആത്മാർത്ഥമായി പ്രാർത്ഥിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് നിർത്തുന്നു. സൈനിങ് ഓഫ്. താങ്ക്സ് അലോട്ട് ഫോർ ലിസണിങ് ആൻഡ് താങ്ക്സ് ഫോർ യുവർ വാല്യുബിൾ ടൈം. ഇതൊരു ഞായറാഴ്ചയായിട്ട്, വളരെ വിലപ്പെട്ട ഞായറാഴ്ചയായിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾ സമയം മാറ്റിവെച്ചതിനും എന്നെ ഇതിലേക്ക് ക്ഷണിച്ചതിനും ഈ ഒരു പരിപാടിയിൽ ക്ഷമയോടെ കേട്ടിരുന്നതിനും എല്ലാം ഒരുപാട് നന്ദി പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് സർവശക്തനാധിപത്യത്തിന് സർവസ്തുതികൾ അർപ്പിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് നിർത്തുന്നു. നന്ദി, നമസ്കാരം, ഖുദാ ഹഫീസ്. സൈനിങ് ഔട്ട്.
So thank you for your session, and we have some more doubts from the faculties. Sir, please give the details of work to be performed by a fresh diploma holder in the oil and gas industry.
Very good question actually. See, I would like to ഞാൻ മലയാളത്തിൽ ആൻസർ പറയാം, കുറച്ചും ഈസി ആയി നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവുകയും ചെയ്യാം. ഒരു ഡിപ്ലോമ ഹോൾഡറെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം ഏത് ഫീൽഡിലാണെങ്കിലും അയാൾക്കൊരു എൻട്രി ലെവൽ ആണ് ആവശ്യം. He has to start his career. നമ്മൾ പറയുന്ന പോലെ ഒരുപാട് സെക്ടേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ട്. അതായത് നമ്മൾ നേരത്തെ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്ത വെൻഡേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ട്, കോൺട്രാക്ടേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ട്, സബ് കോൺട്രാക്ടേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ട്, ക്ലയൻസ് ഉണ്ട്, കൺസൾട്ടൻസ് ഉണ്ട്, അങ്ങനെ പലതും ഉണ്ട്. ഇതിനൊക്കെ പുറമെ നമ്മൾ ഡെയിലി വേജസിന് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്ന പോലെയുള്ള HR സപ്ലൈസ് ഉണ്ട്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മാൻ പവർ സപ്ലൈയിങ് കമ്പനീസ് ഉണ്ട്. അത് ഒരു പക്ഷേ നമുക്കറിയാം. ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരു ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻ ഞാൻ പറയാം, കൊച്ചിൻ റിഫൈനറിയിൽ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യണം നമുക്കൊക്കെ ആഗ്രഹമുണ്ട്. പക്ഷെ കൊച്ചിൻ റിഫൈനറി നമുക്ക് ഡയറക്ടർ എൻട്രി തന്നോളം നിർബന്ധമില്ല. But there will be contractors under Cochin Refinery. There will be subcontractors under each contractor. There will be manpower supplies under subcontractors. അതായത് കോൺട്രാക്ടറിന്റെ ക്ലയന്റിന്റെ അണ്ടറിൽ കോൺട്രാക്ടർ ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കും, കോൺട്രാക്ടർ അണ്ടറിൽ സബ് കോൺട്രാക്ടർ ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കും, സബ് കോൺട്രാക്ടർക്ക് ആളുകൾ സപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യുന്ന മാൻ പവർ കോൺട്രാക്ടേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കും. അങ്ങനെയുള്ളിടത്തൊക്കെ നമുക്കൊരു എൻട്രി കിട്ടിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നല്ല എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഗെയിൻ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. ദ റീസൺ ഈസ് അവർ ഹാൻഡ്സ് ഓൺ ആയിക്കൊണ്ട് ഗ്രൗണ്ട് ലെവലിലായിരിക്കും വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുക. അവിടെ നമുക്ക് എന്തില്ല, ഒരു വൈറ്റ് കോളർ ജോബ് ഒന്നും ഒരിക്കലും എക്സ്പെക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. മറിച്ച് നമ്മുടെ അടിത്തട്ടിയിലേക്ക് ഇറങ്ങി റിയൽ കേബിൾ പുള്ളിംഗ് ജോബ് മുതൽ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് കാര്യങ്ങൾ മനസ്സിലാക്കുകയും അതിലൂടെ ഷട്ട് ഡൗൺ ജോബ് പോലെയുള്ള ജോബുകളിൽ ഫിറ്റർ ആയിട്ടോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മറ്റുള്ള ചെറിയ രീതിയിലുള്ള മെക്കാനിക്കൽ ഹെൽപ്പർ ആയിട്ടോ ഒക്കെ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് അവർ പതുക്കെ എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം, ഒരു സബ് കോൺട്രാക്ടർ ലെവലിലേക്കും പിന്നീട് കോൺട്രാക്ടർ ലെവലിലേക്കും പിന്നീട് അങ്ങനെ അവർ ക്ലയന്റ് ലെവലിലേക്കും കൺസൾട്ടന്റ് ലെവലിലേക്കും ഗ്രോ ചെയ്യാനും വേണ്ടത്. അപ്പൊ അതിന് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത് എന്താ വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അവർക്ക് കിട്ടുന്ന ഓപ്പണിംഗ് വളരെ ഇമ്പോർട്ടന്റ് ആണ്. അതായത് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ ഒരുപാട് ഫീൽഡുകൾ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു. ആ ഫീൽഡുകളിൽ അവർ കയറുന്ന ജോബിനകത്ത് ഏത് സ്പെഷ്യാലിറ്റിയിലാണോ അവർ കയറുന്നത് ആ സ്പെഷ്യാലിറ്റിയിൽ കൂടുതൽ സ്പെഷ്യലൈസ് ചെയ്യാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുകയും അതിൽ കൂടുതൽ നോളജ് ഉണ്ടാക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴാണ് നെക്സ്റ്റ് ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി അവർ കിട്ടുന്നത്. ചിലപ്പോൾ 1-2 കൊല്ലം സ്ട്രഗിൾ ചെയ്യേണ്ടി വന്നേക്കാം. അത് ക്വൈറ്റ് നാച്ചുറൽ ആണ്. നമ്മളൊക്കെ തന്നെ അങ്ങനെ സ്ട്രഗിൾ ചെയ്തിട്ടാണ് പിന്നീട് നെക്സ്റ്റ് ലെവൽ ഓഫ് കരിയറിലേക്ക് വന്നത്. അങ്ങനെ സ്ട്രഗിൾ ചെയ്യാൻ തയ്യാറാവുമ്പോഴാണ് നമുക്ക് അങ്ങനത്തെ ഓപ്പണിങ്സ് നമ്മുടെ മുന്നിൽ വരിക. അപ്പൊ ആ രീതിയിൽ അതിന് കൂടുതൽ സ്പെഷ്യലൈസ് ചെയ്യുകയും കൂടുതൽ ഒരു ഉദാഹരണത്തിന് ഒരാൾക്ക് ഒരു ഷട്ട് ഡൗൺ പ്രൊജക്റ്റിൽ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി കിട്ടിയെന്ന് വിചാരിക്കാം. അപ്പൊ ഷട്ട് ഡൗണിന്റെ ഒരു പ്രൊജക്ട് മാനേജ്മെന്റിനെ കുറിച്ച് നന്നായി മനസ്സിലാക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി അയാൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം? പ്രൊജക്ട് മാനേജ്മെന്റ് സർട്ടിഫൈ ചെയ്യാം, അയാൾക്ക് പ്ലാനിംഗ് മാനേജ്മെന്റ് സർട്ടിഫൈ ചെയ്യാം, റിസ്ക് മാനേജ്മെന്റിൽ സർട്ടിഫൈ ചെയ്യാം. അങ്ങനെ സർട്ടിഫിക്കേഷൻസ് ജോബിന്റെ കൂടെ ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴാണ് മറ്റുള്ള ഇന്റർവ്യൂസ് നമുക്ക് കുറച്ചുകൂടി ഹയർ ലെവലിൽ പെർഫോം ചെയ്യാനും നല്ല ഓപ്പണിങ്സ് കിട്ടാനും ശ്രമിക്കുക. അപ്പൊ അങ്ങനെയുള്ള കമ്പനീസിനെ എവിടെ കാണുമെന്ന് ചോദിച്ചാൽ കേരളത്തിൽ അത്തരത്തിലുള്ള കമ്പനികൾ കുറവാണെങ്കിൽ കൂടി ഗുജറാത്ത് പോലെയുള്ള മദ്രാസ് പോലെയുള്ള സ്ഥലങ്ങളിൽ ഒരുപാട് ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻസ് അങ്ങനെയുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ 1-to-1 ആയിട്ട് അങ്ങനെ നമുക്ക് ഒരു സ്പെസിഫിക് ആയിട്ട് ഇന്ന കമ്പനിക്ക് ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി എന്ന് പറയാൻ കഴിയില്ലെങ്കിൽ കൂടി ഇറ്റ് ഡിപെൻഡ്സ് അപ്പോൺ ദ ലെവൽ ഓഫ് യുവർ സെർച്ചിങ് ആൻഡ് യുവർ enthusiasm how you can find it.
So, sir, another question, that is, what are the additional courses or programs to be studied after the diploma study to get opportunities in oil and gas industry? Please specify.
വീണ്ടും ഞാൻ പറയുന്നത് ഒരു പെർട്ടിക്കുലർ കോഴ്സ് പഠിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് ജോലി കിട്ടുമെന്ന് പറയാൻ കഴിയില്ല. കാരണം കോഴ്സിനെ ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ, നോയിങ് ടു ഡൂയിങ് എന്നുള്ളൊരു ട്രാൻസിഷനാണ് ഇപ്പൊ നടന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. നമുക്ക് എന്തറിയാം എന്നുള്ളതിനേക്കാൾ നമുക്ക് എന്ത് ചെയ്യാം എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഏത് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയും ഒരു ഇംപ്രൂവ്ഡ് കോസ്റ്റ് എഫക്റ്റീവ് ട്രാൻസിഷനിൽ അവരുടെ മെയിൻ ആയിട്ടുള്ള സ്ട്രാറ്റജി. അപ്പൊ അങ്ങനെ ആവുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ ഒരുപാട് സർട്ടിഫിക്കേഷൻസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിനേക്കാൾ ബെറ്റർ ടു സ്റ്റാർട്ട് വിത്ത് എ ഹാൻഡ്സ് ഓൺ ജോബ്. ആ കിട്ടുന്ന ജോബിന്റെ ഫീൽഡ് അനുസരിച്ച് അതിൽ സ്പെസിഫൈ ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരുപാട് കോഴ്സുകളുണ്ട്. ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ തന്നെ നമ്മൾ പ്രൊജക്ട് മാനേജ്മെന്റിലാണെങ്കിലും HSC മാനേജ്മെന്റിലാണെങ്കിലും എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു അബ്ദുൽ മനാഫ് സാർ പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്, അതൊന്ന് സ്റ്റോപ്പ് ചെയ്താൽ നന്നായിരുന്നു. അപ്പോ ആ രീതിയിലുള്ള കിട്ടുന്ന ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റിക്ക് അനുസൃതമായിട്ടുള്ള സ്പെഷ്യലൈസ്ഡ് കോഴ്സുകളും അത്തരത്തിലുള്ള ഓക്കെ. അപ്പോൾ ആ രീതിയിലാണ് നമുക്ക് അതിനെ കാണാൻ കഴിയും. അല്ലാതെ ഒരിക്കലും ഒരു മാജിക്കൽ കോഴ്സ് എടുത്തത് കൊണ്ട് ഒരു അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആ സെക്ടറിൽ ഒരു ഓപ്പണിംഗ് കിട്ടും എന്ന് പറയാൻ കഴിയില്ല. ഇപ്പൊ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ, QAQC-യിലാണെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് ISO 9001 2000 സ്റ്റാൻഡേർഡ്സിന്റെ ഓഡിറ്റിംഗ് സൈഡ് ഉണ്ട്. അതുപോലെ HSC-യിലാണെങ്കിൽ നെബോഷിന്റെ IGC, അതായത് ഇന്റർനാഷണൽ ഡിപ്ലോമ സൈഡ് ഉണ്ട്. അതുപോലെ അതിന്റെ തന്നെ ഹയർ ലെവൽസ് വേറെ ഉണ്ട്. പ്രൊജക്ട് മാനേജ്മെന്റിലാണെങ്കിൽ PMP ഉണ്ട്, പിന്നെ Prince 2 ഉണ്ട്, പിന്നെ അതുപോലെ പ്ലാനിംഗ് സൈഡിലാണെങ്കിൽ പ്രിമവേർ ഉണ്ട്, MS ഓഫീസ് ഉണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ ഇങ്ങനെ ഡിഫറെന്റ് ഓപ്പണിംഗ്സിന് അനുസൃതമായിട്ടുള്ള ഡിഫറെന്റ് കോഴ്സുകൾ അവൈലബിൾ ആണ്. ബട്ട് ഡസന്റ് ക്യാരി ദാറ്റ് ഗ്യാരണ്ടി അങ്ങനെ നമുക്ക് പറയാൻ കഴിയില്ല. ഈ ഒരു കോഴ്സ് എടുത്താൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഓയിൽ ആൻഡ് ഗ്യാസിൽ എൻറ്റർ ചെയ്യാം എന്ന രീതിയിൽ. പിന്നെ ഉള്ളത് B-gas പോലെയുള്ള പൈപ്പ് ലൈൻ ഇൻസ്പെക്ഷൻ വേണ്ട B-gas സർട്ടിഫിക്കേഷൻസ് ഉണ്ട്. പിന്നെ അതുപോലെ തന്നെ നമ്മുടെ QAQC-ക്ക് വേണ്ട ഡിഫറെന്റ് പൈപ്പ് ലൈൻ ഇൻസ്പെക്ഷൻസും ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ട്. അവിടെയൊക്കെ തന്നെ അത് ഒരു ജോബിലേക്ക് എൻട്രി കിട്ടാതിരിക്കാം. But the best thing is that starting as a layman, we start as a layman or a ground worker, and we start learning the field, the technology, at the same time sharpen your skills through courses. കോഴ്സ് ചെയ്യേണ്ട എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞതിന് അർത്ഥമില്ല കേട്ടോ. തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും നിങ്ങൾ കോഴ്സുകൾ ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഈ പറഞ്ഞ B-gas പോലെയുള്ള അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മറ്റുള്ള ഓയിൽ ആൻഡ് ഗ്യാസ് സ്പെഷ്യലൈസ്ഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരുപാട് DCS പോലെ SCAD പോലെ ഒക്കെയുള്ള PLC പോലെ കോഴ്സുകൾ ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു അഡീഷണൽ ഇൻഫർമേഷനും ഒരു ക്രെഡൻഷ്യൽ ആഡിങ് തന്നെയാണ്. ഇറ്റ് വിൽ സ്ട്രെങ്തൻ യുവർ CV, that will make your profile more stronger, that will help you to add your credentials. ഇതൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ കൂടി it doesn't give you a strict guarantee that you will be placed. Ammar muted ആണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നുണ്ട്.
Is the Indian experience is relevant in Middle East countries?
Of course, Indian experience തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും റെലവെന്റ് ആണ്, യാതൊരു സംശയമായ കാര്യത്തില്ല. ഇപ്പൊ ഇവിടെ ഞാൻ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്ന പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമിലാണെങ്കിൽ തന്നെ അവിടെ പ്രൊഡക്ഷൻ ഓപ്പറേറ്റേഴ്സ് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്ന മെക്കാനിക്കൽ എഞ്ചിനീയേഴ്സ് ഒക്കെ ONGCയുടെ സബ് കോൺട്രാക്റ്റിലും മാൻ പവർ സപ്ലൈയിലൊക്കെ വന്ന ആളുകളാണ്. അവർ ഒരുപാട് വർഷം അങ്ങനെ കുറച്ച് കഷ്ടപ്പെട്ട് പല സ്ഥലത്തും പോയി ഹാൻഡ്സ് ഓൺ ആയി വർക്ക് ചെയ്തിട്ട് അങ്ങനെ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് നേടിയ ശേഷമാണ് അവർക്ക് പലപ്പോഴും ഇന്റർവ്യൂസ് അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി കിട്ടുന്നതും അങ്ങനെ അവിടെ നിന്ന് ഇങ്ങോട്ട് റിക്രൂട്ട് ചെയ്ത് വരുന്നതും. ഒരു ഞാൻ പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഒരു 60% ഓഫ് ഓയിൽ ആൻഡ് ഗ്യാസ് സെക്ടറിലുള്ള ആളുകളും ഇന്ത്യൻസ് ആണ്, എസ്പെഷ്യലി മിഡിൽ ഈസ്റ്റിലുള്ള. അവരൊന്നും തന്നെ ഇവിടെ വന്ന് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഉണ്ടാക്കി ജോയിൻ ചെയ്ത ആളുകളല്ല, നാട്ടിൽ നിന്ന് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് നേടിക്കൊണ്ട് ആ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസിന്റെ വാലിഡിറ്റി വെച്ചിട്ട് ഇവിടെ വന്ന് ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റീസ് കിട്ടിയ ആളുകളാണ്.
Sir, another question, do any faculties do any additional programs for students within the syllabus or something? Actually, നിലവിലില്ല. എനിക്ക് ഉദ്ദേശിച്ച ചോദ്യം തോന്നുന്നു, സിലബസുകളിലോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നിന്നുകൊണ്ടോ ഫാക്കൽറ്റീസ് എന്തൊക്കെ ചെയ്ത് കൊടുക്കണം ഓയിൽ ആൻഡ് ഗ്യാസിൽ ഒരു എൻട്രി കിട്ടാൻ ഒരു കുട്ടിക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് എന്നാണ് ചോദിക്കുന്നത്.
അത് നമ്മുടെ മുമ്പ് പറഞ്ഞ ആ 3 ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസിന്റെ സമ്മറിയാണ് ഇതിന്റെ ആൻസർ. എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നമ്മൾ കൂടുതലായിട്ട് കുട്ടികളെ ടെക്നിക്കലി കോമ്പീറ്റന്റ് ആക്കുക എന്നതിന് പുറമെ നമ്മുടെ ഒരു കോഴ്സിലേക്ക് ഡൈവേർട്ട് ചെയ്ത് വിടാതിരിക്കുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ് എനിക്ക് പറയാനുള്ളത്. അതായത് നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ ഒരു വളരെ ഹാൻഡ്സ് ഓൺ ആയിട്ട് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് കൊടുക്കുന്ന കോഴ്സ് പ്രൊവൈഡേഴ്സ് വളരെ കുറവാണ്. എനിക്ക് പല എക്സ്പീരിയൻസും ഉണ്ട്. എൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് പല ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ ചോദിച്ചത് ഞാൻ എന്തുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ പറയാൻ കാരണം എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ, നമ്മൾ കുട്ടികളായിട്ട് ഇന്ററാക്ട് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ 30,000 50,000 രൂപ ഒക്കെ വാങ്ങിച്ചിട്ട് ഞങ്ങൾ സ്കാഡ പഠിപ്പിച്ചു തരാം, ഞങ്ങൾ DCS DCS ഒക്കെ പഠിപ്പിക്കണമെങ്കിൽ DCS സിസ്റ്റം സെറ്റ് ചെയ്യണം ആദ്യം. ഈ DCS സിസ്റ്റം സെറ്റ് ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ തന്നെ അതിന് വേണ്ട ഇൻഫ്രാസ്ട്രക്ചർ ഇസ് വെരി ഹ്യൂജ്. അപ്പൊ ഒരു സിമുലേറ്റർ വെച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഒരു സ്കാഡിയോ DCSോ പഠിപ്പിച്ചത് കൊണ്ട് ഒരു ഹാൻഡ്സ് ഓൺ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഒരിക്കലും കുട്ടി കിട്ടുന്നില്ല. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ഒരുപാട് വോയിഡുകൾ, ഗ്യാപ്പുകൾ ആളുകൾക്ക് അറിയാത്തത് കൊണ്ട് അതിനെ മുതലെടുത്തുകൊണ്ട് പലരും സർവൈവ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെ ഞാൻ പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യാവുന്ന ഏറ്റവും നല്ല കാര്യം കുട്ടികളെ മെന്റർ ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട്, ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ ഒരുപാട് കാര്യങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞു, കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ സ്കില്ല് ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്യുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണ്ട സംഗതികൾ, അവരുടെ ടെക്നിക്കൽ കോമ്പിറ്റൻസി ഇംപ്രൂവ് ചെയ്യുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങൾ, ഇത്തരത്തിലുള്ള ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി ഓറിയന്റേഷൻസ് കൊടുക്കുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങൾ, ഒരു 10 days എങ്കിലും അവർക്ക് ഒരു ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയുമായി വർക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റിയ 10 ദിവസം ഒരു ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയിൽ പോയിട്ട് അവരൊരു കേബിളും വയറും കയ്യിൽ പിടിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ചെയ്യുന്ന എക്സ്പീരിയൻസിനോട് കിടപിടിക്കില്ല അവർ ഒരു 6 മാസം ഒരു സിമുലേറ്ററിൽ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. സോ ലെറ്റ് us ട്രൈ. അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ഓപ്പണിങ്സ് നമ്മുടെ പരിചയങ്ങളിലും നമ്മുടെ കോൺടാക്ട്സ് ഒക്കെ ഉപയോഗിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് കേരളത്തിലുള്ള വിവിധ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രികളിൽ ഒരു 10 days മുതൽ 1 month വരെ റിയൽ എന്താ പറയുക ഇന്റേൺഷിപ്പ് അവർ കിട്ടുമെങ്കിൽ അതിൽ നിന്ന് കിട്ടുന്ന എക്സ്പീരിയൻസും അവർക്ക് കൊടുക്കാവുന്ന കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ സ്കില്ല് പോലെയുള്ള ഇന്റർപേഴ്സണൽ സ്കിൽസിന്റെ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോംസും നമ്മൾ റെഡിയാക്കി കൊടുക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഇത് രണ്ടിന്റെ കോമ്പിനേഷന്റെ എൻഡ് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഇറ്റ്സ് ഗെറ്റിംഗ് എ ജോബ്. ആ ഗെറ്റിംഗ് എ ജോബിന് വേണ്ട ഇന്റർവ്യൂ ടെക്നിക്സ് നമ്മളെപ്പോൾ ആളുകൾ പറഞ്ഞു കൊടുക്കാം. വി ആർ ഹാപ്പി ഫോർ ദാറ്റ്. അതിനുവേണ്ട സ്പെഷ്യലിസ്റ്റുകൾ നമുക്ക് കൊണ്ടുവരാം. നിങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞാൽ മതി. അപ്പോൾ നല്ല പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമിൽ ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് എങ്ങനെ ഒരു ഇന്റർവ്യൂ നന്നായി പെർഫോം ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. ഇനി ഞാനൊരു മെക്കാനിക്കൽ എഞ്ചിനീയർ അല്ല, എന്നിട്ട് പോലും ഞാൻ ഇത്തരം കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഈ ഒരു ഫീൽഡിനെ കുറിച്ച് പറയുന്നതിന്റെ കാരണം എന്താ വെച്ചാൽ വി ഹാവ് ഇന്ററാക്ഷൻ വിത്ത് സച്ച് ഡിസിപ്ലിൻസ്. അപ്പോൾ റിയൽ മെക്കാനിക്കൽ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗിൽ കോർ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഉള്ള, ഇലക്ട്രിക്കലിൽ കോർ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഉള്ള, സിവിലിൽ കോർ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ്, ഒരുപാട് വളരെ ഹെൽപ്ഫുൾ ആയിട്ടുള്ള റിസോഴ്സ് പേഴ്സൺസ് നമുക്ക് അവൈലബിൾ ആണ്. ദേ ആർ റെഡി ടു കം ടു യു. നമ്മൾ സംസാരിക്കാൻ റെഡിയാണ്, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണ്ട ഇൻഫർമേഷൻസ് പാസ് ചെയ്യാൻ റെഡിയാണ്. ഇപ്പോൾ എൻ്റെ ഏറ്റവും അടുത്ത സുഹൃത്താണ് ഹിഷാമിനെ കുറിച്ച് അമ്മാറിനും സിറാജിനും മനാഫ് സാറിനും പിന്നെ നമ്മുടെ ആർക്കും ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു തരേണ്ട കാര്യം പ്രകാശ് സാറിനൊക്കെ അറിയാം. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ഒരുപാട് ആളുകൾ, ഒരു പൂൾ ഓഫ് പ്രൊഫഷണൽസ് നമ്മുടെ കയ്യിലുണ്ട്. ദ ഓൺലി തിങ് ഇസ് ദാറ്റ് യു ജസ്റ്റ് കം ബാക്ക് ടു us. നമ്മളോട് ഇന്ററാക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ തയ്യാറാണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് പ്രൊവൈഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും, അവരുടെ ഇൻഫർമേഷൻസ് ഷെയർ ചെയ്യും. ആ രീതിയിൽ വേണം നമ്മളൊരു റിയലിസ്റ്റിക് ആയിട്ട് മുന്നോട്ട് പോകണം. അല്ലാതെ നമ്മൾ എന്താ പറയുക, ദർ ഇസ് നോ ഒരു റെഡിമെയ്ഡ് സൊല്യൂഷൻ എന്ന രീതിയിൽ നമുക്കൊന്നും പറയാൻ കഴിയില്ല. വി ഹാവ് ടു ഗോ സ്റ്റെപ്പ് ബൈ സ്റ്റെപ്പ്, ട്രൈ ടു മെന്റർ ദം, ട്രൈ ടു ഹെൽപ്പ് ദം ടു ഗ്രോ, ആൻഡ് ആ ഗ്രോത്ത് ലോങ് ടേം ആയിരിക്കും.
Sir, please repeat the name of author of book New Entrepreneur Opportunities Emerging in the COVID Era. Sir, അതൊരു ബുക്ക്
പുതിയ പുസ്തകമല്ല, അത് കോവിഡ് എറയിൽ എമർജ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റീസ് കുറച്ചുള്ളതല്ല. പക്ഷെ ഒരു ക്ലാസിക് ലിറ്ററേച്ചർ ആണ്. നിങ്ങൾ വായിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത് വളരെ നല്ലതാണ്. എസ്പെഷ്യലി എന്റർപ്രണർഷിപ്പ് ഇഷ്ടപ്പെടുന്ന ആളുകൾ, ലീഡർഷിപ്പ് സ്കിൽസും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ക്രൈസിസ് മാനേജ്മെന്റിനെ കുറിച്ച് അറിഞ്ഞിരിക്കണം എന്ന ആകെയുള്ള ആളുകളാണെങ്കിൽ ഐ ജസ്റ്റ് ട്രൈ ടു ടൈപ്പ് ഇറ്റ് ഹിയർ. എല്ലാവരും കാണാലോ. ഞാൻ വായിച്ചതിൽ വെച്ച് എനിക്ക് വളരെയധികം ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസിങ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു പുസ്തകമാണിത്. ഓതറുടെ പേര് ഞാൻ ടൈപ്പ് ചെയ്യാം. തിങ്ക് ആൻഡ് ഗ്രോ റിച്ച് എന്നാണ് ആ ഒരു പുസ്തകത്തിന്റെ പേര്. ഓതർ ഈസ് നെപ്പോളിയൻ ഹിൽ. ശരിക്കും എന്റർപ്രണർഷിപ്പ് സ്കില്ലിനെ കുറിച്ചുള്ളതാണ്. അതായത് നമുക്കൊരു സംതിങ് ഒരു സബ്സ്റ്റൻഷ്യൽ ആയിട്ട് ലൈഫിൽ അച്ചീവ് ചെയ്യണം എന്ന് ആഗ്രഹമുള്ള ആളുകളെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം ഇത് വളരെ ഇൻസ്പയറിംഗ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള വേർഡ്സ് ആയിരിക്കും.
Sir, thank you for your session, and I would like to have the opportunity to have the vote of thanks. And before it, I'm saying a few words about the Malabar Polytechnic campus.
ഫീഡ്ബാക്ക് ഫോം കൊടുക്കുന്നു പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ, അത് ആളുകൾ ലീവ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഷെയർ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടോ? ഓക്കെ, carry on.
So Malabar Polytechnic campus is the 63rd in the Kerala and 4th in the Palakkad district, which has been established in 2012. Because of the huge expense and the comparatively low income, there are less than 10 self-financing colleges in the state at that time. Even though there are many engineering colleges, the 3-year diploma courses provided by the Polytechnic College are much preferred by the ordinary practical knowledge-seeking students. Currently, not even a single seat is available for electrical engineering in the 2 government polytechnic colleges in the district, and for civil engineers and mechanical engineers, only 60 seats are available in the Palakkad. So which makes an increasingly difficult for thousands of the students, and it was the scenario that the Malabar Polytechnic campus was established at that time, where now we have 120 seats in civil engineering, 60 seats in electrical and electronics, and in 120 seats in mechanical engineering, which has a reservation of 50% in government quota and other 50% in management quota respectively. And we achieved a good result in the last few years, and we have a good placement records, and we were able to achieve very much higher position in the results also, even though we were able to achieve the span of just 2 years from the beginning of the Malabar Polytechnic, the established by Malabar Education and Charitable Trust, which have been understand the driving force of the common man also. And our Malabar Education and Charitable Trust also found a new venture, that is Malabar Finishing School, which would be take the ultimate engineers into a professionals which interacted with the major of the industries in the country and outside the country also. And I would like to thank the opportunities that for all the participants, those who have been participated. Around 129 participants have been entered into our meeting, and some of them are leaving due to the time running out time. And I'm thanking first of all the keynote speaker, Mr. Akbar sir, to have his a valuable time for us in the webinar, and the mechanical engineering faculty group chairman, Mr. Subair sir, and the vice chairman, Mr. Prakashan sir, also the mechanical HOD of our college also, and the other dignitaries, and our more honorable, our principal, Mr. Siraj sir, the principal of our college, for the having a wonderful time with us and spend a valuable Sunday with us for gaining the knowledge of students and the faculties. So I'm thanking everyone on behalf of our institution and on behalf of Mechanical Engineering Faculty Kerala also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, Shyne sir, Shyne sir, Shyne sir, thanks.
Shyne sir, ഇല്ല, അതോടെ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു.
ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ നമുക്ക് ഇനി എന്തെങ്കിലും പ്രോഗ്രാം ഉണ്ടോ?
ഇല്ല
എന്തെങ്കിലും പ്രോഗ്രാം? ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ. അക്ബർ സാർ പോയിരുന്നു കേട്ടോ സാറേ. അക്ബർ സാർ ഒരു 2 മിനിറ്റ് പറയാം. അക്ബർ സാർ, ഓ അല്ല, നല്ല ലെഫ്റ്റ് ആവണ്ട.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you.
It was a nice session. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
അല്ല, നമ്മളെ ഇവര് കുറച്ച് ആൾക്കാർ ലെഫ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് നമുക്ക് പേഴ്സണൽ ആയിട്ട് സംസാരിക്കാം. പേഴ്സണൽ ആയിട്ട് സംസാരിക്കാം.
Let me leave. I have an engagement.
Meeting is over.
Okay.
സാറേ, പിന്നെ അക്ബർ സാറോട്ട് പേഴ്സണലി ആണെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ വേറെ മീറ്റിംഗിലേക്ക് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നല്ലേ?
അല്ല, അതിപ്പോ കഴിഞ്ഞു. ഇറങ്ങി കഴിയാൻ കുറച്ച് ആൾക്കാർ കൂടി 19 ഒരു 2 മിനിറ്റ് ഒന്ന് കണ്ടിട്ട് 2 വാക്ക് സംസാരിച്ച് പോവാച്ചിട്ടാ, വേറെ ഒന്നുമില്ല. കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോ തന്നെ കുറച്ച് ആൾക്കാർ ഇല്ല 19, 13, 14 ആൾക്കാരുണ്ട്. 13 ആൾക്കാരുണ്ട്. അല്ല, എന്നാലും പറയാല്ലേ, ശരി, കുഴപ്പമില്ല. അക്ബർ സാർ, ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞോട്ടെ? അക്ബർ സാർ പറഞ്ഞോട്ടെ?
തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും.
സാർ, നമ്മള് ഒരു പ്രോഗ്രാം കണ്ടക്ട് ചെയ്തപ്പോഴേ നമ്മൾ ഓയിൽ ആൻഡ് ഗ്യാസിന്റെ ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റീസ് അതല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിന്റെ എന്താണ് ഓയിൽ ആൻഡ് ഗ്യാസ് എന്നുള്ളതിനെ കുറിച്ചിട്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ പിന്നെ ഒരു പ്രതീക്ഷിച്ചത്. ബട്ട് അത് ഒരു 4 ക്ലാസ് കേട്ടതിന്റെ എഫക്റ്റ് ഇല്ല. അതായത് പിന്നെ ഒരു നല്ലൊരു ലെക്ചർ, ഒരു ഓയിൽ ആൻഡ് ഗ്യാസിനെ കുറിച്ച് ഒരു ലെക്ചർ ക്ലാസ് പോലെ കിട്ടി. പിന്നെ ഒരു ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയൽ സ്പെഷ്യലിസ്റ്റിന്റെ ക്ലാസ് കിട്ടി, ഒരു മോട്ടിവേഷൻ സ്പീക്കറുടെ ക്ലാസ് കിട്ടി. ഓക്കെ, അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ക്ലാസ്സിൽ തന്നെ 4 or 5 ക്ലാസ്സുകൾ കിട്ടിയ ഒരു ഇത് വെറുതെ ഒരു എടുത്തു പറയുന്നതല്ല സാർ, ഒരു പൊങ്ങച്ചം പറയുന്നത്. ദാറ്റ്സ് എ ഫാക്ട്. സത്യമായിട്ട് കിട്ടിയ ഒരു കാര്യം. അത് പറ്റി നമ്മൾ ആ ഗ്രൂപ്പില് പറയേണ്ടതെന്ന് തോന്നി. ഗ്രൂപ്പിൽ പറയുക കഴിയുമ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് അതിനുള്ള ചാൻസ് ഇല്ല. അതാണ് ഇവിടെ എന്താ സാറേ, നമ്മളൊരു പ്രോഗ്രാം ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ഒരു പ്രൊസീജിയർ ഉണ്ട്. ആ പ്രൊസീജിയറിന് വൈലേറ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞില്ലേ, എനിക്ക് 1 മിനിറ്റാ തന്നത്, നമ്മുടെ പ്രിൻസിപ്പാൾക്ക് 2 മിനിറ്റാ കൊടുത്തത്, പിന്നെ അമ്മ സാറിന് 2 മിനിറ്റാ. കാരണം നമ്മുടെ കീനോട്ട് സ്പീക്കർക്കാണ് ഇന്നത്തെ റോൾ. പിന്നെ ഇതിൽ ഏറ്റവും സന്തോഷമുള്ള ഒരു കാര്യം ഇത് തുടങ്ങി ഒരു പ്രോഗ്രാം നമ്മൾ 2 ദിവസം കൊണ്ട് സെറ്റ് ചെയ്ത്. സത്യം പറയാന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നല്ല പേടിയില്ലായിരുന്നു. കാരണം നിങ്ങളെപ്പോലുള്ള ഒരാളെ ഇതിന്റെ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമിൽ കൊണ്ടുവന്നിട്ട് എനിക്ക് ചെയ്ത പേര് വരും. എനിക്ക് ആസ് വെൽ ആസ് മലബാർ പോളിടെക്നിക്കിന്റെ ആൾക്കാർ മുഴുവൻ എന്നെ തെറി പറയും. അല്ല സാർ, അതല്ല പറഞ്ഞത്. അങ്ങനെയല്ല സാർ, അങ്ങനെ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത്. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത് പിന്നെ വളരെ കുറഞ്ഞ സമയം കൊണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് ഇന്ന് രാവിലെ കൂടെ ഞാൻ
പോളിടെക്നിക്കിന്റെ ഏജൻസി നടത്തുന്ന പരിപാടി ആകുമ്പോ തീർച്ചയായും ഞാനൊരു ഭാഗമാണല്ലോ, അത് നന്നായി
തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും. അതല്ല സാറേ, അതല്ല അതിന്റെ കോർഡിനേഷൻ പറഞ്ഞ സംഭവം ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, കോർഡിനേഷൻ. ഈ കോർഡിനേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ അതിന് വേണ്ടത്ര പാർട്ടിസിപ്പൻസ് വരണം. അത് മാത്രമല്ല, വരണ പാർട്ടിസിപ്പൻസ് ആവശ്യമുള്ളവരോ. ഞാൻ ഇതിൽ ചിന്തിച്ചൊരു കാര്യം എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ, ഞാൻ ഇന്ന് രാവിലെ 9 മണിക്ക് അമ്മ സാറിനെ വിളിച്ചപ്പോൾ ചോദിച്ചൊരു കാര്യം, എത്ര പാർട്ടിസിപ്പൻസ് രജിസ്റ്റർ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്? ആൾക്കാർ കുറയാണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ എനിക്ക് 10 മിനിറ്റ് കൊണ്ട് ഇത് തരണം. കാരണം വരുന്ന പിന്നെ ക്ലാസ് എടുക്കുന്ന ആൾക്ക് അദ്ദേഹം പാർട്ടിസിപ്പൻസിന്റെ എണ്ണം ലേശം ഒരു കോമൺ സെൻസ് ഉള്ള ഏതൊരാളും ചെയ്തത് നമ്പർ ഓഫ് പാർട്ടിസിപ്പൻസ് നോക്കും. അപ്പൊ അതുകൊണ്ട് പാർട്ടിസിപ്പൻസിന്റെ എണ്ണം അത് വെറുതെ ഏതെങ്കിലും ആളല്ല, നമുക്ക് ആവശ്യമുള്ള ആൾക്കാരെ കയറ്റും. അപ്പൊ അതുകൊണ്ട് നമ്മളിത് പിന്നെ രാവിലെ തന്നെ ഒരു 250-200 ചില ആൾക്കാർ വേസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്.